Hi, church family. My name is Gretchen Levesque, and I get to bring you the encouragement for today. Well, as you may know, Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday, and so we have some thoughts that we wanted to share with you that are kind of related to Mother's Day as we're approaching that day. I'm going to be looking at Titus Chapter 2 with you in a couple minutes. And before we get there, I just wanted to cover some things that I've been thinking about and that I think about really every Mother's Day when it approaches, and that is that it's a happy time for me. I have 3 girls and a great husband, and my mom is still with me, and it is a time to celebrate. It's not a time to celebrate for everybody. There's a lot of people that would like to be happy at this time of year, but for various reasons, that is difficult for them. We all come from different past and have different things that we've been through, different kinds of home life that we've come from, and there may be some that are dealing with estrangement from their own mother or estrangement from their children, or you could have something like miscarriage or infertility or even an abortion in your past, something that has caused grief in your heart. And what I would like to remind you of today is that Jesus is here to mend our hearts and to restore our relationships. He's here to take the broken and untidy places in our life and to put like a balm and a comfort on those areas so that we don't live stuck in those places for our whole life. And that God has given you and me people in our lives that we can go to help carry the burdens that may feel heavy to us. And that Jesus himself will never reject anyone who comes to him for forgiveness or for healing or for restoration in their heart to be able to move through something that's difficult. And so that's just an encouragement that I have for some of us who may be having a heavy heart right now around Mother's Day for whatever reason that might be. Don't stay stuck in that place. Reach out to someone around you that can help walk with you. You are not alone. So in Titus 2, as we can open up there, Titus is a small little letter that the Apostle Paul wrote to Titus, who was pastoring a church that he had started, and he's giving him some instructions about how to do that. And in Titus, there's some instructions for men about what godliness looks like, some instructions for women, what godliness looks like for them. And what's so cool about it is that it's such practical information for us. I've found that verse 4 of Titus 2 is the one I want to talk about today, and I found that one to be the simplest one, but also the most challenging. It reads like this: love your husband and children. That's it. Love your husband and children. And so I was thinking about this. I've been reading the Bible for like 30 years, and this simple, short passage has just stumped me, because I think sometimes I feel like I don't even know what love is in this culture, constantly feeding us lies about what love is and what it looks like. Our movies and everything is just constantly lying to us. I have to go back to the scriptures and remind myself, like from 1 Corinthians 13, about what love is. Love in God's economy is action. If you have feelings that follow that are pleasant, that is a plus. But love is primarily described in the scriptures as action. 1 Corinthians 13 says that love is patient, it's kind, it doesn't envy, it doesn't boast, it bears all things. And then it continues. So love is definitely something different in God's economy. So when Titus 2:4 says to love our husbands and children, this means something very specific that may not be exactly what we would think of if we have the mindset of the world to love our husbands and children. So we have love defined a little bit, which we just spoke of. But then the other question that comes to mind when I read this command is, how do I do it? How do I do it when it's hard? Around my house, I have to say, a lot of days it's really easy to love. My kids are awesome, my husband's great, but sometimes my heart is just kind of a mess, or I'm just being stubborn or whatever. I'm a sinner and so are they. And so how do I pull this thing off to love them when sometimes I just don't feel like it, or someone is really undeserving? Maybe it's not even my own kids. I'm talking about a family member or coworker or whatever. And how can I carry out this command to love them when I'm stuck sometimes in this, like, well, if I do this for them, then what am I going to get in return? I'm thinking my motives are a mess, whatever it might be. But then I came across this really key element that I've overlooked for years, and it helps me understand how to pull it off, how to do it. And that is in John 13, it's in John 15, it's in other areas of the New Testament where Jesus says, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another as I have loved you." And I thought, that's so profound. That's the key. That's how I do it. That's how I love my kids when I don't feel like it, when they're not behaving, whatever. That's how I pull this off, is that I take the love that he has shown me, the kindness that Jesus himself has given to me as a believer. He's given me freedom from my sin. He's given me a whole new life in him. He's given me hope of heaven. He's given me so much that my heart just like overflows with that goodness that I get from him. And what he says to do is to love others with that love. So I don't have to manufacture in myself this kind of love to give out to other sinners that may take it for granted. That doesn't even matter. What he's saying is, love others the way that I have loved you. So it's like I can receive that from him, and I can kind of mirror that back onto them, onto my family members. Even if my heart is a mess and their heart's a mess, whatever is going on, I still have the capacity to be able to love them and to love them well, because I've received that from Christ himself. And so as you go about your day and you're thinking maybe in a challenging situation of how do I love this person? You may even have a mother that is difficult to love, or someone in your life that you know that God is calling you to love them in action and in deed, and in your approach to them. You don't have to manufacture that yourself. You can take that love that Jesus has given to you personally, and you can reflect that back onto them. By the power of the Holy Spirit, he equips us to do this. So I hope that's encouraging you today. It has been very encouraging to me this week. I wish you well, and go in God's peace and have a happy day.